You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Punisher Waterfowls The Refuge is presented by Quick Koys, the fastest deployable, most portable, lifelike motion decoy product ever invented for duck hunters. You can't. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430 podcast, episode 202. Woo. And we're from Ongaro, and we're coming from Ongaro's Lodge in parts unknown, Alberta. Craig is the only one from the regular crew that's with us, but got the man Claudio Ongaro with us. Barb is hiding.
This is Barb cleaning.
Barb's cleaning.
Barb
Jay.
had a beer. Barb had a beer.
I had a beer.
Jay.
Company time.
Daryl, and
Melvin.
Melvin. Mel.
No, it's not Melvin.
No, it's Mel. So for anybody that's so anybody that's followed the show,
Sometimes it's something different, but
yeah. So anybody that's followed the show, Hired to Hunt, you know all the characters, because this is for the most part, for anybody that's watched Hired to Hunt, this is usually the team that you see. It's the three guides and Claudio, and this is the usual crew, right?
And Little Brad.
And little Brad, which will be here next week. Next week. So, anyways, so this is going to be a little off the wall, a little crazy, but it's going to be fun because it's what it's meant to be. Just a bunch of dudes sitting around that enjoy bird hunting. So, Craig, I'll let you chime in here soon. I'm just trying to set the stage on what everything's going on. So the way that it works here at Ongaro's is that Sunday evening clients show up. So it's usually two groups of 5. They show up Sunday evening. They hunt twice on Monday, twice on Tuesday, one Wednesday morning hunt. Then they leave Wednesday night. A new 2 crews of 5 show up. They'll hunt 2 hunts on Thursday, 2 hunts on Friday, 1 on Saturday. The team will go crazy, clean everything. And I mean, everything is clean. It's
Fix
like
everything.
Everything's reset. And then in the afternoon on Saturdays, which is today.
Yeah, there we go.
Here it is. Everybody gets to have a little relaxed time. Get into town, pick up some stuff, pick up some supplies, have a couple drinks, relax. And then tomorrow morning, being Sunday morning, all the guides are back out on the road spotting and looking for hunts again. So this is a very welcome break for everybody because it's Saturday afternoon and everybody gets to have a little bit of time to unwind and probably catch up on some sleep. And
It's almost past their
Not
bedtime.
today.
not today.
7:30. This place is like ghost town. We're
Yeah.
all gone. 7:30, 8 o'clock. We're bagged and we're in bed.
Well,
It's
last
done, eh?
week I messaged you. Last week I messaged you. I was like, it's 8 o'clock and everybody's gone to bed. And you were like, yeah, everybody's tired. They've been going.
I was at a wedding. But
Yeah, you were at a
I
wedding,
was
but
struggling to stay awake.
But-
yeah.
you know, so but anyway, so this is it. So we're just gonna sit around and shoot the shit and talk about the last 2 weeks that I've been here and what I've seen, and then the boys can chime in on anything, and then we'll probably make fun of Daryl a little bit because that's just the thing to do. And then, you know, and Craig, any questions you got? Because I know you've been watching the show for a long time and,
Yep.
and know a lot about it. So seeing the show is one thing, but then the behind the scenes, like what actually friggin' happens to get the show going is another thing, right? So any questions and stuff, I was contemplating doing it live, but it could just go off the rails way too fast.
Yeah.
Be going live. So I thought I'd just record it. So other than that, We can keep it as basic as we want, or we can get into stories. We can get into anything. I'd leave it to you because you
The
don't.
outsider.
Yeah, like you'd sort of kind of drive the conversation, I guess.
You know what would be interesting is just to start, is your perspective.
I was
'Cause
just gonna say that.
You've seen, like, you see the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And how you've been inside the walls and you see the behind the scenes stuff in 2 weeks. And now, like, it'd be neat to get your perspective, because for us, it's just so routine. And
Yeah.
it's all plug and play. We all have roles and jobs. Like, look at Barb's busy running around cleaning, and that's all stuff that happens. And that's not always portrayed, wasn't
Well,
portrayed in the show, so.
I think the biggest thing is that from the show, you used to say controlled chaos, right? You would say that on the show sometimes that this, but I don't think anybody can quite understand what
Yeah.
the chaos is.
I was even seeing your little videos since you've been out there. It's like it's some cool little behind the scenes stuff, but I'm sure it's like not even a dent of what's going on, right?
Control. It's like yesterday
Control.
was chaos.
Yeah.
Like we had rain, we had trouble getting to the fields,
Mhm.
we had a tough morning hunt, we had 4 guys didn't want to go in the rain. And then, I raced home, made a 6-hour trip, like return. So I went and got an Argo because if it had kept raining, we'd not been able to get in the field. So now we have an Argo.
Oh, Jesus.
And it just, that was part of my day. Didn't plan
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
And then these guys were, while I'm taking off, we had a meeting. These guys are getting the hunts ready, and then boom, they went and we smashed them last night and recovered the entire trip for these guys, right?
Well, even I think it was an episode a couple years ago when it was like you guys were talking about just sheer volume of flat tires,
Yeah.
right? It's like if nothing else, you got flat tires to deal with every day.
Oh, like there's a pile
But
of dead ones and there's 30 new ones. we
It's
got.
always something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I've been here, I think 15 days, 16 days. I've been here in the lodge. The fuel truck has been here 4 times,
Yeah.
twice a week, fueling up vehicles. That's how much. So yeah. So like watching the show is one thing. Yeah, it's cool. You get to see the setup. You get to see the hunt. You get to
Yeah.
see birds. Yeah, it's cool. But you and I have said it a million times, Craig. Like you see 10 birds fall out of the sky. It doesn't really get any much
Yeah.
more different than that, right? But now it's just ridiculous, like the shit that'll come up. Like,
Well,
and
Yeah.
it is.
We're blessed as far as that we can get to where the birds are and get underneath the birds.
Yeah.
And the spotting time and the hours and what we drive the roads and just to get underneath those birds.
Yeah, the hunting's not a big deal, it's a spot.
Spotting is
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Spotting
And-
is number one.
Well, it's-
What's really interesting too, and like we had a situation this morning where like when we're spotting, like the hunters go, well, how do you guys do this? And we're motivated by the paranoia of those birds not coming back. Cause no one likes that feeling. Like I could feel Mel's pain this morning. He spotted the hunt. We killed 17 ducks. We had 3 flights come in and a few, they just didn't do it. I mean,
And he had 2,000 ducks last night.
yeah, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
happens so rarely, but it hurts so bad when it happens. So we just make sure all those elements are perfect. And even when they're perfect, you're dealing with wild animals, right? It's just crazy. It stings so bad. So when we're spotting, I think that's what drives us to catch every detail,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, that is what drives, I think, the success of the
And
hunt.
last night was textbook, they all went back to the roost just the way it's supposed to.
And
Everything was-
was 2 days feeding for 2 days and
Craig,
And
how
it just didn't come back.
Craig, you can hear the radio, like you can hear
Yep.
Mel and Jay and everybody. Okay. So
Yep. No, I can hear fine.
when you go in there, like when we're spotting, there's a lot of times that we got 2 or 3 hunts. We go and look at a hunt and all of a sudden she's gone, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then we just wish that it doesn't happen the morning that we're going
Right,
in
right,
there.
right.
But last night, we had 2 options, Jay had one, I had one. Mine was closer. They're both like pretty much identical hunts, probably should have been on Jay's.
Oh, mine was
Yeah.
rocking this morning too.
Did you
It
go
was
look?
But that's
awesome.
Yeah.
But the thing,
Every choice the wrong one, right?
but Craig, like we talk about, and you hear them say it, right? Spotting is so important. So
Yeah.
So on any given day, there's 2 hunts, right? There's a,
10
Yeah,
grand. each.
yeah, so there's 2 hunts
know.
any given day.
Yeah.
Well, 4 really, right?
Yeah,
Look at her going,
Hunts a day. So there's four
Two
Yeah,
groups,
so there's-
morning and afternoon.
so there's 4 hunts in a day, right? So 2 hunts in the morning, so 2 groups of 5 in the morning, 2 groups of 5 in the evening.
Yeah.
So in order to pull that off, like they're spotted. So when if you're hunting, you're hunting. If you're not hunting, you're spotting. And then
Yeah.
flip flop. So I went with Daryl the other night, and I went with Claudio a night spotting
Early.
too. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not for the faint of heart to be
Yeah.
driving around. Well, because they've got to cover so much. Like it's not a
We're going 60 miles one way and 60 miles back, just trying to.
Jesus.
5 million acres.
and drive.
Yeah, that's one thing I was wondering. Like, how far are you guys going on a scout? Because I know even for me around where I am here, it's like I'm doing half hour, 45 minutes one way to get to the fields, checking around, and then coming back once it's getting dark. But, like, how many kilometers are you guys putting on?
We're about at the outmost, we don't try to go any more than an hour and
Hour.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Once you got hunters, they don't like that stuff.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
try that. If
40
we got,
minutes, 45.
yeah, if we got hunts within a half an hour, it's awesome. But it just don't happen. Like you got to go where the birds are.
You know what happens sometimes, like you're glassing a hunt that you had, and then of course you see a vapor cloud get up 7 or 8 miles away, and you push further. But it does 2 things, right? Like the hunters don't want to be in the truck for an hour.
Yeah.
But if they have to, they will. But then what happens is you come back from spotting, it delays supper. And then
Yeah.
in September, we're getting up at 3:30, and then we're getting back, we're eating supper at 10:30. So that window of sleep gets tight, right? And that's why there's 6 of us now. And it's a little dry this year, so I brought some extra staff in. So there's 6. So there's 2 guys hunting and 4 guys on the road spotting.
Okay.
It kind of reduces the hunting a little bit, and the guys like to hunt, but it also reduces your morning wake ups a little bit, which keeps you a little bit more rested, and that's important, because if you're bagged and you can't spot, like you're literally a bag of shit in there.
I mean, that's all the kind of stuff that, like, all the little things that even with your show and others now, like showing more of the behind the scenes kind of stuff. But those are the sort of things you're not considering, right? It's like, okay, yeah, you got to keep that distance to get the hunters out there in the morning and at night reasonable. And then, but yeah, you're not thinking about what are meal times looking like. What do you got left for rest times if you're kind of expanding on
and the
beyond
thing
that,
on
right?
that, so I got to add to that. So let's say that dinner, so they'll get back at the last person usually doesn't roll in here from spotting until 9:30, right? 9:30 is a good time that people. So then
That's
10
now.
That's
It's
now.
daylight now.
Yeah.
Right? So 10 o'clock they're eating dinner. So they'll eat their dinner. And then once they're done dinner and they're sort of kind of finished with that, then they've got to go and have their meeting and figure out on who's hunting in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So it could be 11:30 before you're even back to your bunk, ready to
Oh,
go to
man.
sleep, and then up again 3:30.
Into the trailers.
And then, yeah, make sure the trailers are good to go and everything.
Jeez.
Like, there's not a lot of, it's not,
Mhm.
well, first when I got here and we were around and people were like, oh, are you guiding? I'm like, oh, fuck that. Like, you'd have to be nuts to do it. Like,
Now,
Well, especially
you-
again, cool to hear that stuff. Especially like so many guys out in Ontario. That's always a thing. They want to go out and guide, right? But it's like thinking it's just living the dream, and it's like,
Oh, yeah,
but you
living
got-
a freaking dream.
No, but I think more fellas, so like all the fellas, so obviously the show was popular, right? And the shows just how great the hunting can be. But I've been around enough to know that there's a bit of work to it,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize that it was this much work.
The coolest thing about this lodge is all the guys that are here have been here for a long time.
yeah.
It's a well-known.
So we must like it here.
I don't know why, but we.
Or no one else will have you.
Well, the team and it would not come off. We'd never
Yeah.
done.
And that's why-
Everybody knows everybody's habits. It's just good.
And that's why we have repeat customers. that
Absolutely.
come back.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I didn't know, Craig, until I got here, is that all of the clients that come.
Hey everybody, this is Kyle Smock with Show Me Ducks, a proud sponsor of Punisher Waterfowl's The Refuge this March at the Toronto Sportsman Show. Come check us out in The Refuge to see the Deep Diver 2.0, the Ice Quacker, and the Mini Quacker.
So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Carol's making.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'll fucking this 30 seconds will get cut out. But you know what? I forgot where my fucking train of thought was on that.
So we're
You lost in mind.
Oh yeah. So it's all returning. It's all returning clients.
Oh, okay.
Nobody that's coming in here this year that all of these guys don't already know. They know.
Yeah.
They walk in. It's all, hey Joe, hey Tim, hey everybody knows everybody.
Yeah. Got your regular room.
Claudio is hardly, well, the guides are never here when the clients show up because they're spotting, finding hunts for the next day. Claudio is never here. So the clients are so used to this, they come in, they know exactly what's going on. They go to the mud room where I have the ammo and all that stuff squared away. They don't worry about some other things because they know when Claudio gets back, Claudio will sort that out. They'll go for a walk around, check things out, pour a drink, and then they wait for dinner. They know the whole system. There's no briefing. There's no,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just it's
So nice having that level of comfort too when you walk in, right?
It's
and I
like going to
think
your favorite bar or restaurant, right? You
Yeah.
walk in, you go to that same table. It's kind of the same thing here. Like some of the guys will go, Claudio, can you make sure I get the same room? I'm going, you're the head of the group. Just tell
Yeah.
me the room.
Yeah. Take what you want.
Yeah.
well, here's the cool thing: the crew that's coming in, I think they come in later this week.
Uh-huh.
But I think they've already asked that they could start a gumbo or something.
No,
right?
that was the guys
That's
who were
Louisiana
supposed to come up. That
Oh.
the hurricane.
Right.
So we like
Oh yeah.
controlled chaos. So, I mean, when you're outfitting, you have to have a full camp to be profitable, obviously, right? So we had a group two groups of 5, both flying up private. The one group out of Louisiana, the hurricane hit, so they couldn't fly up. And I mean, they've been here quite a bit before. And I said, okay, let me talk to Austin. Austin Hope has a wine brand in California, like he's all over, unbelievable wine. Anyways, I go, Austin.
That's a nice plug.
Yeah. Well, he does make great wine. Anyways, so I go, Austin, can you fill the camp? Well, instantly, I mean, they're flying up private too. So he made a couple phone calls. He couldn't get to 10, but he got to 8 in literally under 24 hours, which
Crazy.
helped me out. But yeah, it was pretty cool. So the guys who were going to come up and make the gumbo couldn't come. And again, controlled chaos. And then I had a text just yesterday. One of my clients broke his beamer. So now I got to try to fill it. Yeah, like I got to fill it quick. And
And the
3
class
guys
coming up next, Bill's been here a lot. For the last 2 days, he's texted me every freaking morning, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Like,
it's like family. Right?
he
Yeah.
knows. Today he texted me, so I see you got rain. What footwear do I need? I said, Bill, the same footwear as ever, but this time bring some muck boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're dry right now, but we're expecting a whole bunch more rain.
Yeah, and I wondered about that, like just the amount of return. Like I've figured, obviously, majority's return, but like especially right now, right? You see on Facebook, everybody's like, "Oh, I'm looking to go this year. Who can I go with?" And of course, everybody lists off this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. And like I always wondered, it's like that's great that you're listing off all those outfitters, but who's actually got availability?
But
And if
cool,
they've got it,
we got no space available, and we got a waiting list. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's lots of availability out there. You got to be careful who you go with. Right?
yeah. Well, it's like if they're available at this point, why?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
You
Well,
got
that's good. That's a very good point, Craig.
there's a really interesting dynamic, right? Like when I started, like this is my 31st year, and you know, and Brad Johnson, who just left today, like he's going for 2 weeks. Like we have a whole full team, there's about 9 guides, and then like Brad's in full time this year, he's gone for 2 weeks. But he started with me in 1994 and off and on has come and gone, right? With other parts of his life. But I don't know where I was going with this now.
Well, you just go.
The drinks kicked in.
Dynamic, so,
Yeah.
But we'll get that. So now,
sorry, yeah, the bookings, right? So then, you know, you get these hunters that come up and they know the staff, they know the clients, but the dynamic is like there's so much that occurs to kill the birds that you have to also not only know how to kill birds as like guides and outfitters, like we have so much experience and we have meetings. So like Jay, classic example, like Daryl's been smashing him out of layouts. So we were talking about it this morning. We're going, okay, well, what's he doing that's like, and we meet every day and we go, okay, this works. And Jay smashes them out of the big bush all the time. And like Tyler yesterday, we had an interesting situation. So we kind of consult and we figure out, and if you're a fledgling outfitter that doesn't have that backbone, it's hard to kill the birds. And then you still have to deal with all these other logistics, which makes like just the logistics of getting the hunters underneath the birds a challenge.
That's why.
And then keeping the wheels turning. And then, you know, these guys are pro killers. I mean, these guys are the best in the business. When they go out, if they come back and they don't kill stuff, the birds didn't come back because otherwise we're killing stuff, right? So
Yeah.
that it's, and there's a lot of guys that start up and they go, oh, I can kill birds. And I thought I was that guy in 1994. I realized I can kill birds under perfect conditions, but I couldn't kill birds under all conditions. And now we can kill birds under all conditions, which is,
Yeah.
you know,
laughed at for fucking.
No, but that's the.
like we killed that one day, it was 108 degrees. What is that? 37, 38 degrees.
So much experience.
we can't hear like you guys are with all the audio, like the audio isn't that, no, it's fine. It's just,
We'll just do it at a time. So the bottom line is, you know, when you've got, there's the logistics of actually running the operation and there's us that we have to go and kill the birds. And if you don't have guys that can go kill birds, the hunters, they're not going to come back. Like you can work as hard as you want, but you still have to kill the birds. And, you know, it's not like, you know, seeing a big whitetail buck at 300 yards, you lay the scope on him, bang, you smack him. It's like archery hunting all the time. You got to bring them into 20 yards to kill them, right? And that's what we do every day. It was pretty cool.
I wanted to bring this up because I'm not sure. I've been around a few guides, not a lot of guides, but a couple guides. And Daryl told me this one of the first evenings him and I were out driving. And you know, when I'm asking him about guiding, and I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I want to try guiding. I don't know. And I'm picking his brain one night. And he told me, he was like, you cannot come back to the lodge with nothing.
Yeah.
You cannot. You have to find something. It may not be perfect. It may not be the ideal hunt, but you got every one of them comes back with something. It may not be what they want to do, but there's something. There is an option, because if you've got clients that are paying premium dollars to come and fly up here and to kill birds, there is no option. So if Daryl says, well, I couldn't find nothing, and then Mel says, I couldn't find nothing, and Jay couldn't find nothing, now you've got 5-10 clients sitting there.
No, we're pretty.
The thing is, like, they're not, we don't just come back with a random option though to have an
That's
option.
right.
Like, it's a good option.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I don't want to
the
make it seem like
difference
it's
between being a good guide and a poor guide, or a good hunter and a bad hunter, is being able to manipulate birds into doing what you want them to do. Anybody can go in a field and set up and shoot that, you know, like a traditional field, lots of birds going into, you can set up. Pretty much anybody can go in and kill those birds, right? But there's a huge difference between watching and knowing everything that's going on in your area and spotting all these birds, and being able to manipulate situations to kill those birds in a different way than just a traditional setup. So, and if that means like, okay, there's these 5,000 ducks going into this piece of land over there that nobody in the world's allowed to hunt because it's blocked off feedlot or something, right? Like, and they don't allow any hunting, but how can we kill those birds? We will find a way to kill those birds in a way that we can.
Right.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's still a great hunt, but to some people, it doesn't look like a hunt, but to people that know how to hunt or can manipulate those birds, it's a good hunt, right?
A much better explanation than what I did.
Well, I just want to say that it's just hearing that, it's like, oh, you got 5,000 birds coming in. It's like being in Ontario, like hearing somebody say something like that. Like it's like, oh,
you should have seen me.
Because I'm thinking scouting wise, right?
I was driving with Claudio, and I was like, "That's a good little hunt for me there." Because like I'm
18
trying
ducks on a pond.
Here's our other guy.
Here's the other guy. So I'm driving by, and I look at it. We drive by this little pond, and I was like, "Oh, that would be a good little hunt for me to go on one evening." Claudio, and he was like, "No." I was like, "What do you mean, no?" He said, "Let's get through the first week." He said, "And then you'll be all right."
Damien, move your screen a little bit, get Tyler in here.
Oh, I can't get everything.
Oh no, but nobody needs to see me.
Yeah, they do. You're the main guy.
They see me all the time. They see me all the time.
This so now one of our young guns, he started here 3 years ago and
he's a local guy. We turned him into a guy.
knows his stuff.
Yeah, so here's a classic example, right? Like Tyler, well, we can't see you.
That's okay.
No, you gotta get in. Get in. We
can see his drink.
Yeah.
So
you see my
belly. Tyler
Oh, that's not
that's it. Tyler would.
Hey, the food is good.
Not good eating at 10 o'clock at night though.
Yeah.
So Tyler, we had a conversation. I remember, Tyler would bump into some of us, and I gotta admit, he was a little bit of a pain in our ass because he was so good at what he did that he would, spot hunts, scoop hunts on us, and I thought, well, you know what? Best way to get him out of the loop is hire him.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're a little bit skeptical at first about the guiding.
Yeah, a little bit.
And because there's all this, there's a bunch of negative sentiment, I guess, or there can be, and Barb was a classic example. Like 20 some years, it was like, ooh, like we can't go work for the big bad outfitter, right? But boom, here we are. I mean, this is as bad as it gets, right? Like we're just so bad, right?
But I was going to mention something earlier too, like a guide. You want to become a guide, if he can be the greatest hunter ever, and to become a guide, it's a different world because you're dealing with clients.
You can't deal with people.
You have to be a people person still. Right?
I mean, it's not what everybody thinks. Like everyone just sees the good times sitting in the field.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even realize that you're spotting also. Like it's not just you don't show up to a field and you get to hunt every day and guide people. Like there's a lot of other things that go in behind the scenes and everything.
Like Mel says too, you have to be a people person.
If you're not,
there's been a few guides around that came here. And they're great hunters. They'll kill stuff, but the clients come back and say, "Hey, I do not want to hunt with this guy because he's not a people person and this and that." So it doesn't work.
For me, as like I pay these guys, right, to go. So
thanks for that.
No, but it's true, right? So. But it's not like you don't have to be the best hunter when you show up here. Like we have Tisha showing up here, and she's young, she's a woman, and she's like aggressive, and she really wants to learn. Like she has that fire, and to me that's important. Like as far as bird, like Daryl really is the only bird hunter, like who can blow a call. Like we can.
Oh, come on.
No, well,
oh, he's a little
but
bit.
He's a little.
That should be like.
Like, and Tyler's more of a bird guy than we are. Oh, these two guys are bird guys, right? So we're
what?
No,
Jay and I were
Tyler's what?
No,
Jay and I are
bird guy. Like we
bird guy.
No, a bird guy.
Like, you're digging.
No, I'm not.
I
don't They eat, sleep, and breathe bird hunting all year.
Oh, I got over that.
Right.
20 years
we
ago.
did when we were young.
Oh, fuck.
What I'm getting at, you gotta have that, like that, you gotta be.
I used to skip school
I know.
going bird hunting.
Like it's almost like you gotta have a, like, it's like trying to get a dog away from a bone. Like these guys, it's not like how many bands you have or what's on your lanyard or what camel you have.
No.
It really is like when
It's
you
for
go out, you gotta find a hunt, you gotta come back and you wanna kill stuff more than the clients wanna kill stuff.
Absolutely.
And that's-
I want the limit.
and,
They
you know,
don't care.
And
I want.
I guess what I was getting at is we don't need the flashy guy with the dog in the truck and the branded decoys.
Hell no.
We need a guy who's into it so much that killing and pleasing the clients is the biggest. And that's
Number
what,
one.
like, we're like the bad news bears. Like, we're a mismatch of misfits who really like to kill stuff. And they won't come back without a hunt. And if I can just say one thing, there's times when we go out and there's 10 minutes to leave, like we're spotting, there's 10 minutes left and we don't have a hunt for the morning.
Yeah.
And I just go, okay, guys, everybody remain calm. And guess what? Everyone comes back with something. Like you said, it might not be great. And guess what happens the next morning? We smash it. And that's that calm
Yeah.
demeanor.
But it's tough.
I would suggest, like anybody, like if anybody did want to, so let's say you're an 18-year-old kid and this is what your aspiration is in life. You want to be a guide and let's say you're in Ontario or wherever you are in the world and you're going to go to a hot zone for birds. I would suggest to come and do what I'm doing and then decide on if you want a guide.
Well, there's a question, like, what kind of opportunities are there? Because, like, everybody automatically thinks, right? If you're going out, you're guiding or scouting,
So it started with me with a phone call to Daryl. I just called Daryl and said, I want to come to Saskatchewan and I want to hunt. And he was like, okay. And I was like, but I don't want to pay to hunt. And he was like, well, that's going to be a problem. And I said, well,
these guys work for free.
yeah, I'm like, but I said,
I like that deal.
yeah, but I said to him, I said, but you gotta be able to make it make sense, right? So I said to him, I said, listen, I want to come and hunt, but I don't want to have to pay. So I'll fucking work for you. In return, I get to go hunt whenever work allows me to go hunt. But this is what I want to do. So, and we haven't touched on this yet, but on Wednesday, Daryl leaves this lodge and now goes to Saskatchewan and opens up the Saskatchewan lodge.
Oh, okay.
And we'll run that. So that was the original plan. But then Claudio calls me and goes, listen, I got way more work for you in Alberta. And you know my situation and everything that goes on with me medically. So it was a half-hour conversation with Claudio where I told him, I said, okay, well, listen, I'm very nervous about coming to Alberta. Here are my reasons why I'm nervous to come to Alberta. Daryl, I've known him for a long time, and Daryl understood everything that was going on with me. So I had the conversation with Claudio, and Claudio said, listen, come do it, try it.
Part of the problem is we don't have, like, the Saskatchewan budget is far different. Like it's easy here and there's so much more work. Like he's supporting like 2 groups, 5 guides, how many trucks, how many CRVs, and it's like there's always stuff that crops up. And then we have other projects that we're trying to deal with, with Damien, but like it's interjecting him into Saskatchewan didn't make economic sense.
Right.
Whereas here it actually made much more economic sense.
But I think, Craig, to answer your question, is that, listen, if you know of a guide, then approach it. Like, I think you need to manage your expectations. So if you think you're going to walk in as the Joe Job guy at Claudio's Fixers, what he calls me,
a handler,
but like if you're coming in and you think you deserve $50 an hour, well then you're probably going to be disappointed, right? Like you manage your expectations. So I get paid. I can hunt any day I want.
But you've only hunted twice.
I've only hunted
so
twice.
It's not like you're lighting it up.
No, but I can hunt any day. There's no limitations.
We'll get you out there.
There's no limitations on when I can hunt. I'm getting paid, my room and board is covered, my food is covered. I literally came out here with a suitcase with some hunting gear. I got no gun, I got no ammo, everything is, it's just true work, right? So, and I think that's the thing, like if somebody wants to do it, approach a guide and say, hey, listen, I wanna be your, guy to help you run the day-to-day operations. I wanna learn it. And then when it comes, because ultimately it's gonna come to the topic of salary or payment. I think you manage your expectations on what you expect your payment to be. And
Which I thought you sold yourself short. Like,
and I did.
So you did, and I said, you know what, like.
I did,
I basically, well, we went almost 2.5 times.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
pretty close.
Oh, really?
I can't have, well, yeah, like, I go, really? Like, I mean, you're not a donkey, you're a human being, like, I mean, you know.
Treats me, I get.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, like, I would feel bad asking you to do anything at what you wanted, right? So we just said, okay, and you have to be fair, like, you know, like it's equitable and it's a huge value. And I wish I'd have done this from day one, but having said that, day one, there wasn't a revenue stream and I wasn't in a cash flow position, or, you know, when you're carrying a bunch of debt, you can't have a spare guy. So it would fall on us. Like,
so is this, so this sort of thing, this sort of position that Damien's doing, is this something you've had before or no? Or just kind of, oh, nice.
Never.
And I guess that's what I was getting at when I said, like, kind of what opportunities are there when Damien started to say, like, you know, reach out to a guide, like, is this something that's kind of a normal?
And I've set a really high.
You wrecked everybody else now.
So Damien's job is here. He's here to support me and the team, obviously. But really, the only thing he's taken away from you guys is the gun cleaning and
Not a problem.
No, but there's a lot of these other little things that crop up all the time.
It has freed up turnover days for the guides, because we did all that stuff. Now we don't have to do it. So even on a Saturday turnover, there's 4 guys here. They got it done before we were back this morning at 9:30, and everything was done.
And we get other jobs done too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We keep pushing off, and then now with Damien here, it's done.
But so I want to answer your question, Craig. No, I don't think most outfits have a guide like me on the payroll, but I don't think it's such a crazy idea to approach something with. If they had the cash flow, why not? Because the owner, so if you think of Claudio, like, imagine trying to juggle 800 balls at once. That's what's going on in his head. 24 hours a day.
It's much more controlled though.
It's
less chaos.
A little more control, a little less chaos.
And the guys get an extra hour now because
well, that's huge, right?
It is. It's so important. So if they, like, when we come back, normally it's like, okay, we got to deal with a flat tire, or we got to run a truck to the mechanic or whatever. We would have to do it. It was either me or them, right? And so, and it's critical that they come back. We eat. We have a meeting. They go sleep for 3 or 4 hours. They go spotting their fresh. That increases your productivity, because that's what we're doing. If you're driving around and you're tired, watching your birds and you fall asleep.
Well, even Daryl got sick this week from a hunter.
Right.
And he was burnt right out, and more sleep.
But that's only because Damien was here.
It'll probably make a big difference at the end of the season too, right? Because like you were saying, it's like there's all these little tasks that get put off. So like, you know, ideally at the end of this season with something like this, it's like you don't have all those little things that got put off. End of the season, be less jobs you got to worry about. You kind of just pack up and be good.
I'll remember the daylight time.
Yeah, so at the end of the season actually changes a little bit, because so like opening day, legal light's about 6 o'clock, and I think it's almost closer to 7.
It's
6:30.
Well, now, but like by October, it's like 7:20, and then we're back here by 5:30 or 6. By 7 o'clock, we're going. It's too early to go to bed, right?
It's like raining.
So
what's that?
So
raining.
Oh, thanks.
So what happens though, we get more sleep at night.
I do now.
But as the days get shorter, we don't get any naps. Like, we might come back at 12:30, the next guy's ready to go at 1:30 or 2 o'clock because the birds fire, right? So that's condensed, but we get full 8 or 9 hours sleep at night, so there's definitely a shift.
Okay.
So what I tell our clients, and I used to say this on the show, like, we've all watched the Memphis Belle, right? It's like that Lancaster bomber, and it went on something like 13 bombing missions or whatever. When it took off the first time, it's shiny and new, and when it came in at the end of the movie, the whole movie was about getting that Memphis Belle on the ground and the crew safe, right? Well, by the end of November or end of October, early November, we're like the Memphis Belle, like everything's taped and tattered and torn and broken
And everybody's
shot up
right at the end of the deal.
and tired.
And
But
and the
I think we're
bitching
gonna-
starts, the arguing starts, the whole business starts.
But I think what will happen this year, with Damien here, is instead of skidding into a crash landing, it'll be a smooth landing.
Yeah.
It will be more intact at the end of it. So it's pretty cool. Like, it's
Well, because how long, when you guys started at the beginning of this, saying like, okay, like here's what your schedule looks like for the day, and how long are you doing that? Like, when does hunting start for you guys, and when do you wrap up with clients?
So we start September 1st. So we all rolled in about 30th, the 29th, 30th. We had a staggered start with the who came in. So September 2nd this year, actually the guns started going off, and we go to November 3rd. So it's 9 full weeks.
Jeez.
A week, and it's busy. Now that could be interrupted by a winter storm at the, middle of October, later October. So we hope we can go through. And of the 30 years,
we're hunting anyway, storm or no storm.
Oh, we're prepared.
right, we're ready. We're ready. Like last year,
We got so
we
much
had-
equipment and the Argo and the side by side and
like last year we had that one
it doesn't
storm
matter
come in.
what it's doing.
It was like -18, and it got cold and snow. And I went out in the morning, and it was cold, and the birds were bouncing off the willow, the blind. So I said, "Okay, guys, we're gonna go back to the goose chairs." And remember, and then boom, you and Mel went up, and it was boom, 80 honkers on the ground that morning.
Oh.
And I struggled. I killed 18 or 19 on the Wednesday, and
You gotta adapt.
we pivot. Like, we have the equipment, and the difference between not being able to kill is the difference between calling your clients and saying, "Don't come," or, "Hey, it's snowing, but we're smashing them," and they go, "We're in."
That's the
And they
best
can-
weather to smash.
Oh, absolutely.
As long as you got the equipment, right?
Yeah.
We have equipment.
Boy.
Well, Claudio had said to me first when I got here, and I think I said it on one of the little videos that I had done, that a hunt will never fail here due to equipment. Ever. Because there's so much redundancy in here, and I'll do another video and I'll show the shop and just the gear and how many backups there are to the backup and stuff like that. But the guides will never say a hunt failed due to equipment. Because if a truck breaks down, well, there's another truck here. And Damien drives that truck to them. They'll hook the trailer on it. They'll go to the hunt, and then I'm on the side of the road trying to fix the truck. Like, it won't stop a hunt.
No.
Equipment won't.
And there's spare trailers. We value a hunter's time first and foremost, but if you we had a classic example this morning. We had one of our clients this morning where we leave in the morning. We'd like to leave a 45-minute buffer zone after you're set up. Like, if you have a flat tire on the way to the hunt, you got to deal with it. And on a truck, it's not a quick fix. So, of course, Austin, he wants to cut it tight. He wants to be set up and parking the truck right at legal. And it's nice sometimes to have that 20-30-minute buffer where you just go, okay, walk back, right? So if you have a hiccup,
Take them.
if you have a hiccup, you can't get to the field 20 minutes after legal.
Yeah.
It'll be covering you up while you're setting out decoys. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
So
10 minutes to legal this morning. We were still putting decoys out because he wanted to sleep.
Oh, really?
oh yeah.
Oh,
So we
that's not
changed.
good. That's
Well, you know what he said? He said, if we're getting up at 4, no one's going.
Oh, really?
Like, okay, well, so I walked over to Mel's cabin. I
Yeah,
said, Mel, we're going to 4:30. Now, we had enough time.
and it's all good, but on the same note, like, the client's saying, that's fine, let's just go staff, because if we're too goddamn late.
Well, to a point though. The
But we
clients,
don't
they-
like that, like,
Yeah.
I wanna go shoot these things, not be late and
You
be
should-
covered up with birds,
That-
and we can't
You
shoot
still
them,
have to-
cause
you
we're
still-
not ready.
So
Yeah.
You still have
here,
to take control.
here
If
is,
the client
here
wants
is
to
the,
sleep in, you still say, hey, we have to be there at a certain time.
But if they don't care.
so here is the dilemma that I've seen as the fly on the wall here. And I don't stick around for most meetings. I usually frig off by the time they do their
Which you
meetings.
should. You should.
But here's what I noticed as a fly on the wall. So earlier they were talking about how the guides,
When he comes back.
how the guides want to, like, they want to kill, they want the limits and stuff. So I've seen the guides say, we need to go in here at this time. This is how we need to hide. This is how we're going to do it. And the clients will then, well, we don't want to do it that way. We want to do it. And then it's the balancing act. Okay, so the guide is using his expertise to say, hey, listen, if you want to smash them and be back to the lodge in an hour and a half, we have to do it this way. But if we do it your way, we may not get the limit, and we're gonna be out there for a while. So if you think that these fellas don't want to smash the birds more than the clients, I'm telling you, you're wrong, because they want to kill them more than what the client.
The bad thing is this is what we do, but what the hell do they do? They're doctors and lawyers.
Yeah.
So if we want to, and we ask them sometimes, not very often anymore, but what do you do for work? And they'll go, well, I'm a doctor. Well, guess what? We're a lowly waterfowl guy.
Well, but you're
So
a dentist,
it's our
like-
job.
So the bottom line is, though, like there's a fine line, right? Like I had one of our clients who just left. He's 84 years old. About 5 years ago, he said, Claudio, we used to lay down all the time. And then remember Manny. So he said, he goes, Claudio, he goes, I'm gonna come hunting here till we die. But he goes, I don't want to lay down anymore. Great guy. He's hunted with me 28 of the 31 years I've been in business. So how do you not, like, you just go out and just go, no, like, he's an old guy. He doesn't want to lay down anymore. So let's accommodate him.
Well,
Right? And that's what we do. But I mean,
Yeah.
a bunch of 30-year-old, 40-year-old guys, they go, well, we don't want to lay down anymore. We're going, well, we think you'll whack them that way. And, do you want to sit on a chair? You want to lay down? And then we'll just go, we'll wash our hands and we'll go, okay, we think we'd be better off laying down. If you want to be upright, that's fine. And then, like, one of Austin's guys there, his main guy, Mike, he's got he can't lay down. So we won't lay down with that guy. It's simple, right? So we accommodate, we adjust as best we can.
And sometimes that costs you some birds, but
Yeah.
that doesn't matter. Like, we have to look after our guys. Yeah, I don't want to come in without a limit.
Yeah.
This morning I did. The birds.
Kills you a little bit inside.
I wish I would have thought about it yesterday and got some video of Tyler when he came in yesterday. And just to show, so all these fellas that are watching the show and like, oh, I want to be a waterfowl guide. I want to go out and do it. I wish I would have had a video and showed him.
And it's absolutely glamorous being a waterfowl guy.
And the show,
We're famous.
well,
Oh, yeah.
to show the state that he was in yesterday after coming back, the rain that they went through, the hunt, the feel, and just.
And lubing up to take one,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I just
We got one trio back here.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him and I was like, Jesus, like, just mud, like just mud, soap. It was just drenched to the bone. So, and if you think they don't love it, well, then you're missing everything, because you've absolutely, it's not just for money. It can't be just for money.
Yeah, we need some money.
No, no, I didn't. You want the money, but it can't be just for the money mill.
No.
It can't be.
Well,
It can't be
we would-
because you could go,
We wouldn't be.
no, you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it if it was just for the money.
Well, and just kind of going back to like kind of, you know, the clients don't necessarily want to do this, but you got to try and tell them to. I guess that's the good and bad of having that rapport and comfort with those return guys, right? Because it's like,
Sometimes,
Yeah, sometimes those guys that dig their heels in too.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'll be like, no, I'm not.
Well, they're comfortable with you, so they're fine with saying like, yeah, I'm not doing that. But then you guys have the rapport to be able to say like, well, this is what we do, and
you can't put a hunt together because the client doesn't want to get up. Like if
Mhm.
we're not on, if we're not set up by legal light, which this morning was really tight, not that it mattered, but
Yeah.
you might screw the whole hunt up. Just
well, and one
because
thing,
up
one thing
there.
that popped into my head with that too is like, yeah, it's great if they don't want to necessarily get out there early and you know have that buffer period. And you know, it's easy heading out.
Barb's been here cleaning since about, what, 10? 10 this morning? What time did you get here this morning? 10? Oh, noon.
One for the road work. But Barb's been-
That's long enough.
Hours she's,
Barb's been here
Yeah.
since,
and she's only cleaned the downstairs. yet.
2000.
Oh yeah,
23 years she's been here.
that's crazy.
No, well, a little bit, but not,
Well,
it's not, we love her.
Little Brad that's not here right now, he's been here 20,
Same, started
2 or
same year,
3
23 years.
I've been here 18, Jay's been here at least
Oh.
12 or better. I mean,
No.
there is not very many, well, there's no waterfowl outfitters in the country that have guys that long.
That are
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Doctors is the happiest place on earth.
That's
Walk in, bomb.
Yeah.
And when you got this many clients to, or sorry,
Guys,
guides and everything, you all have to get together and be along together and get along together.
and you know, sometimes we have our scuffles though.
Oh, absolutely.
do,
We
yeah.
do, but it's just like, it's like,
But you know what? If the network wasn't here, he wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be here.
of course.
And there's been other guys that, you know, I won't say, but, you know,
Come and go.
you
Come and
don't
go.
like them and this, and it's just not fun.
They don't.
You have to fit, you have
They
to.
simply don't fit in with
But
the.
we have a good crew now, for
Good
sure,
crew.
yes.
You know what, like if this was like a software company, we'd be on version 31. And it's like every year we, like you try to refine, you know, you try to refine and you refine equipment, we refine techniques continually. Like we've evolved so much, like, you know, like Jay,
If something doesn't work,
yeah, like Jay, you're like the big bush guy, like when it started. Like we ended up going, okay, these guys want to have a big bush. I'm going, oh, I freaking hate it. Jay loves the big bush. But anyways, 80s call. But anyways,
The big
You know,
bush.
Fucking remember
And
those
then-
Marbles pop money back in the 80s,
yeah,
Jay?
Jay would go out and smash in the big bush. We'd go, and we'd have meetings. We'd go, there's no secrets. It's like, okay, well, this really worked. And then we tweak it. And then, you know, like before that was goose chairs, which you were familiar with. And then,
oh yeah.
you know, and then we got in the snows and the white suits, and then
You
used the
just
white
gotta,
suits.
and the birds evolve.
They do. They do. They adapt.
I
Well,
want,
especially with having the return crew every year too, right? Like you can, with all the work you got to do, you can kind of hit the ground running too, right? You're not
just hold on, boys.
What's that? Say again.
just like with your return crew and already having that kind of connection with each other, knowing who does what and everything. You don't have to start from scratch every year too, right? Like if you're bringing in, 50% new people every year for as far as staff, it's like, well, you can't get started as quickly. You can't get everything running as smoothly right off the bat, and you're already behind, right?
And clients too, right? Like,
It's
so it's
pretty-
all just such a
It's
homogeneous.
pretty wild at startup because Jay will always come a day early, so don't have to look at robos, none of that.
Jay takes
stuff.
care of all this.
That's all ready to rock. Decoys are ready. Yeah. like,
Cars.
Well, I like
cars. I think the cars, the spotting cars are like more important than.
Oh, absolutely.
They are. They are.
Buddy,
Spotting.
anybody ever asked me what vehicle to buy that'll last? Honda CRV.
Yeah.
Those friggin' things go through on every day, all day.
With no oil change.
And no oil either.
No oil.
But is
On no oil.
They won't run with no oil. Well, we tried to, we checked.
Like, like across grain, across real fields and bean, like,
Yeah.
it goes wherever it needs to go.
And you know what, having said that, if you try to buy a CRV in Alberta right now, like they've gone up in value, it's just, you can't find it.
You need to be sponsored
I
by
wanted
Honda.
I wanted to touch on because Claudio started by saying like Jay is a big bush guy, right? So Jay's a big bush guy. Daryl is a lay line. Mel is a goose chair guy, right? Isn't it?
He's a big bush guy.
Is he a big bush?
Bill just does whatever he thinks we do best. He's a copier.
Yeah.
No,
If it goes wrong, and he blames it on us.
No, I would say the opposite. I would say Mel is if you tell him to go stand in a stand-up line, Mel's going legs. He will do that. Talking at the opposite.
He'll go, Mel, you got 100 push. He'll go, okay, I'll give you layers, but can you draw that out for me? How do I?
If Mel is the opposite guy. Whatever you say, this
It's
is
just too spiteful.
Oh yeah, just because
He's Mel.
it's Mel and he's doing
And
it
he
his way.
gets nervous before the hunt.
Oh,
He comes back, should I do this, should I do that? Oh, no.
And I tell you,
But it's good, it's good.
And he's not happy, but
Nervous
he's not
is
happy. Like when he comes back here, and if the hunt did not go well, like you can fucking tell as soon as he rolls in.
We all do.
Yeah, I know, but
Y'all wanna please, right?
I know,
Like-
but you can tell when the hunt did not go the way that he anticipated it to go, you can tell right away. Because
I was with a guide one time. It was one guy I went with. Like he said the same thing. He was nervous before every hunt. And like Damien, like I get super anxious, super nervous anytime I'm hunting with new people, whether it's a guide or just, a couple of guys. And this guide, like he showed up the one morning and he's like, oh yeah, it's nothing for him to like throw up in the morning because he's just so on edge and so nervous because he just wants to get you on the birds and that.
Yeah,
Right? Like
alcohol, but not.
Yeah.
might have been that.
Like Jay, you get like I've been doing this 31 years. Like I've got in my room there's a fireplace. And if I'm going on a tricky hunt, let's say it's a puddle and it's a big pond and I hear the wind in the fireplace, if it shifts during the night and I hear that, like I'll freak out, I won't sleep all night. Like it usually doesn't affect things, but you just go, and
Yeah.
I was stressed out the other day, right? Because the way the wind
We all do.
it just, these are seasoned pros, right?
We want it.
The other thing, I guess, too, is like we don't have the liberty to choose what day we hunt every single hunt.
Yeah.
So it's not like a weekend warrior that it's like, you're gonna hunt Saturday or Sunday, and then Sunday looks like crap, wind's backwards, so let's hunt Saturday, the wind's right and the weather's good.
Great point.
Like we have all these hunts banked up and selected, but it's like we don't always get to choose the weather conditions or the timing that we get to use every single one of these. So we have to be able to hunt those hunts
regardless.
of conditions and still do well. So we have to know how to do that.
Yeah.
On top of everything.
Awesome point.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
And to take that to an extreme, like what's happened to us, and we've all been there. We go, we pin our hunts, we're ready to go, we got the trailers ready, we've had our meeting, we're ready to bed. And then let's say I'm not hunting in the morning, I get a knock on the door. Yeah, right? And they'll go, Claudio, it's white out there. Like a storm came in, so
Yeah.
sudden everybody, like we get the whole crew up because whatever we have in those trailers is not going to work. So now we got to get white suits, goose chairs, like we got to do a total flip. And because we woke up with that 45-minute window to get the 100 rolling in the hour drive, now it's like, holy shit, like we got to do a flip, we got to dig shit out that's for like, it's crazy. And
that gets to the point that we have the equipment.
We make it happen.
That-
Like I remember one year,
That's the trick though, Jay. That's the friggin' trick that and again, I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for the small number of guides that I've been with. But the trick that you guys is that if that snow comes, you have all the gear. You're ready. It's just, okay, shit, all right, I need everybody up. Everybody's gotta get up. We've gotta tear everything out and we've gotta restock it. That could happen. So it could get restocked to snow on Monday and then Tuesday it'll be fucking 30 degrees again and you gotta do it all over again. So that's the thing that I've seen the most out here is just how prepared and how much redundancy is built into the system.
A huge difference also between guiding and outfitting, and this is outfitting. Like what a lot of people do, what they call outfitting is just guiding. It's like I don't have a facility like this. Like everyone's around these tables having dinner, having a good time. Like there's an atmosphere here. Everybody enjoys.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's like if you just show up, meet the guide at a gas station and you go out on a hunt, like you don't have the facility to wake everybody up, all the guides, and be like, we need to tear these trailers down and restock them for snow rigs. So let's go right now.
Because you wouldn't have
exactly.
Right.
So
Yeah,
you have our facility to go back to do that. So like there's a huge difference between the two. And this is outfitting and this is what
Yeah,
good point.
like both here and Saskatchewan, like the shop is twice the size of the lodge. So the support system is far bigger than maybe 3 times the size. The support network is way bigger than you look at this from a drone, the lodge looks like a peanut and everything else just supports the well, you call it the mothership, but this is just where the client's sleeping.
Yeah.
Like this is the fluff, right? Everything happens out there and same within Saskatchewan. It's just like you got to have all that equipment.
But like
the lodge is just the tip of the iceberg, really, right?
It really is.
Yeah. And Daryl says too, like guiding and outfitting. Oh, I can be a guide. I got no equipment. I'm putting them in hotels and whatever. So I got an outfitter. I got a lodge and all this equipment. Claudio fits us with all the equipment. We have all the gear. Yes.
You know what? I'm an investor type of guy. I don't have money to invest, but I invest everything back into the business, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it was a slow process. Like for example, we started out. I had a 1987 crew cab. We didn't have a trailer, and then I built this place. You're carrying a bunch of debt. I remember I had a tent trailer. And Brad was here that year. We blew up, like the axle lasted like 3 days. So we're going, well, that didn't work. And I couldn't imagine these hunters going, like, you have a tent trailer, like, what is this junk, right? But then you just realize quickly, you just got to keep throwing, you throw money and time at it.
Yeah.
And you build it up. And the end result, it would be hard, I think, right now to and I feel bad for some of these guys that go, well, I want to be an outfitter. I want to buy an outfit.
It's changed.
Because when we started, the bar was literally it was so low. If you had a bag of decoys and a phone in your truck, you're, wow, awesome, right? The bar now is so high. Like if you don't have, and this took me 30 years to build this, but you can't build this as a 30-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Unless you have a really rich daddy, I don't know how you do it because it's just so much infrastructure and the work and the time.
The lessons learned over those 31 years are huge too.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that axle's not sufficient for this job, and these decoys aren't, and everything like that. That type of vehicle doesn't work out here either. So takes money and time, and a lot of time to figure out all those lessons learned and build a superior product in the end.
Right. And having the side by side sitting there, so you have a side by side. Look at Saskatchewan. How often do you use it?
Yeah.
Same here. We use it. It's sitting there. You have this asset sitting there. It's got to be there because when it rains or snows, we're not getting in.
Yeah.
And the hunt must go on. You got to have. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And again, that's the logistics side that we talked about earlier. And then you have to meld that with the killing side because. That could all be fluff, but if you don't execute that and if the hunters don't come back with a bunch of dead shit, it doesn't mean anything. And then you got to get it back to the camp, and then you gotta have the food that works, right? And then they gotta be able to dry their clothes, cause they're all wet, like, it's pretty crazy.
Process.
It's a process.
But a bird, yeah, so the bird, so let's talk bird processing.
Yeah.
So like, talk about, so the hunters come here, they all,
when we're
like, they come here, there hasn't been a crew yet that hasn't went back with birds.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so Claudio has his list and all the names, and every one of those hunters will be like, oh, I want 24 specs, and I want 24 ducks, and I want 5 Canadas, and whatever.
Oh,
And-
you're over limit there. Easy. Fair, hit the brakes on you.
Hey, no, it doesn't matter. I've got fucking brain issues. I can't remember. So, it's all good. But the bird processing part of it, right? Like, it's seamless because the hunters don't have to worry about it. So on
And
the
neither
day,
do we.
that's right. Neither do
Yeah.
any of these guys. But on the day that they leave, they roll their coolers out, and the boys, Claudio gives them the list. This is what these guys want. And then the boys go out and they open up the freezers and they start
But it's
stacking it up.
perfectly packaged.
Well,
perfectly packaged,
It's like,
perfect, like
it's
vacuum
like you would
sealed.
walk into a grocery store.
Absolutely.
And buy it.
Well, I done the video, right? Did you see the
Yeah.
video that I done,
Yeah.
Craig? So like from taken from the photo deck over to the butcher shop, into the processing room, and then into the freezer and the whole bit. And that is something I don't think anybody has
Yeah.
that I've seen.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't.
Well, the value to that too is like I did a trip with some family a couple years ago just to Manitoba, and it was early season, like it was the Canadians only season, and like American, it wasn't open to American hunters yet. And so the first day, try and save a bit of money, my brother and I cleaned our birds, and like we didn't get the birds like that you guys post. And after that first day, it's like, yeah, we'll pay the guy to do that.
Come here and you can clean them all.
Yeah.
Well, I've had guys, well, first of all, I have guys go that, can we clean our own birds? And I would just quickly say, I go, listen, that won't fit into our program. You just need to go look somewhere else. Cause you don't have the time. Like, you'll be.
Well, that was the thing. We had just finished basically.
Brenda.
Like, you're up at 3:30. Oh, here's Brenda.
And now another
Drivers just
So I
got back.
yeah.
And I used to do all the driving. So now Brenda saves my ass because it saves me.
Well,
12
saves
hours a
you
week.
what?
12
Saves
hours a
you
week.
6 hours every 3 days.
Three times.
Yeah, cause.
It's like when we cleaned our birds, like, yeah, again, we didn't have a ton of birds, but there was 3 of us shooting, and so we had to clean our birds. And by the time we were done, finally, it was time to go up for the other hunt.
Guys. Go ahead. Start
Yeah, I
over.
was just saying, it's like when that first day when we decided to clean our own birds, and it was beginning of September too, so just pin feathers too, right?
Yeah,
Just
right.
pain in the ass to clean. But by the time we cleaned them up, our backs were sore, and it was time to go.
Yeah.
We didn't have an afternoon nap or anything. It was time to hit the road again.
Yeah.
The fun was over.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you heard this right now, but like, even though we have the half day off, right? Like, Barb just left. Brenda walked in. She did the airport run today. That roar in the background was the backhoe. That's Kathy taking the carcasses to the dumpster.
No,
And Dimitri, or the chef, he's gone to Red Deer. And so even though we have the afternoon off, which is pretty rare, and they have different work schedules, but it's just, it all works.
yeah.
Funny because I asked.
Brenda, you're on TV?
Yeah, that's.
Brenda drives the big white bus. It's a 40 foot, 47 passenger bus that we can.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool for the hunters, yeah.
Yeah, so the first day I had to go, Claudio was like, hey, could you go check the bus? Because we gotta go pick up clients. Just make sure it's, not a mess, like mud inside it and everything. And it was the first time I walked in there, I was like, this thing's like a party bus. Like, I can imagine getting picked up, like me and 5 of my buddies, or.
It's like one of those party limos down in Niagara for the wine tours.
Getting picked up, like it's
It's like captain's chairs with a table in front of you. I was like,
Well, you use Toyota with.
and no idea what Mel just said. Yeah. Pan talking. No. It's good. No,
There was one question I was going to ask, is in
Yeah.
so like because I noticed this.
Yeah, don't ask me.
So it's Tyler, right? Tyler's the new guy.
Tyler, yeah, right there.
So, because that was one question I was going to ask, as far as like just local hunters and that. Because like, I know when we went to Manitoba, we saw nobody hunting. Now, mind you, again, it was early September. There's a lot of harvesting going on, so I'm assuming all the local people were farmers and they were probably busy. But like, do you guys run into a lot of local hunters at all?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Farmers hunt themselves.
Yeah.
We're not far out of the cities. There's plenty of guys hunting.
Okay. Because yeah, that was one thing I noticed. Like, we pulled into a gas
Keep
station.
going, Craig, because we're trying, because he's saying, I don't want to do this. I don't want to come on the show. I don't like.
Start slurring.
Keep hammering him. Get him. We gotta get him out of his comfort zone.
Because that was one thing I was surprised when we went to Manitoba. I expected to see like a lot of people hunting, but there was nobody. We went into the gas station.
Well, you gotta remember, Craig, so this is what I've learned since I've been here. Everybody's working.
Yeah.
Everybody's working. Like all the farmers, that's all they do. They work.
Yeah.
They're always working. They don't
Yeah,
have
that-
to hunt.
So I wasn't sure if it was just there wasn't.
So last night, here's a prime example. Last night, being Friday night,
The 13th.
we were downstairs. They were having their meeting, and Jay needed to talk to a farmer, and he was like, "It's 10 o'clock. Is it too late for me to text the farmer?" Because they're going, they're nonstop, and 10 o'clock at night. You know what? The last thing that the guides want to do is send a text or call somebody when they're going to ground and they're going to sleep.
Yeah.
Because that's they don't have time to hunt.
Well, you know, it's interesting how
Relationships.
the iPhone has changed so much. Like if we back it up to where we had bag phones, right? Where even the farmers, some of them didn't have the cell phones. We call their home number.
Yeah.
And I remember this one hunt, JD's mom and dad. Right? We called them. We were scrambling our asses off. And of course we called, left a message. Hey, Evelyn, you know, we'd really love to get in there. Well, they're all combining. We're sitting here on pins and needles, and we get the call at 10:30. Yep, go ahead. We grabbed our spotlights and our headlamps and went out. We had to look for goose shit.
That's good
At
shit.
10:30 at night or 11:30, put the pin in the ground and smash the birds. Whereas now with texting, it's like you text a guy, if he doesn't want to look at it or he's sleeping, it's no big deal. Like we can text at 7 in the morning now, whereas before you're hesitant. You wouldn't go roll in there till 8 or 8:30. So it's been a huge asset to us as far as the access and communication with
Technology.
the landowners. And how'd the drive go, Brenda?
Smooth, yeah.
Good, nice and smooth.
What are you drinking, Brenda?
Some Austin Hope White.
Oh,
Is that the one you were talking about?
so the last client that had come through, owns a vineyard and is a wine guy. So whenever he comes, he brings some wine. Usually leaves a bunch for everybody. So
Never enough, Austin.
did you open a new one
I
or
just did.
It's
Oh.
probably $100 bottle of wine.
home.
guess?
Yeah.
So I didn't-
It's open now. You don't want it to go bad. You got to drink it all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Craig, I think we're well over 60 minutes here now, so we can start winding this one up.
It was kind of fun.
Well, hey,
I have
listen,
shit to do, so yeah.
well, we can do it for Saturday because I think it's
It'd be fun.
It's a blast.
Great.
As long as everybody else wants us to do
Oh,
it
it's
every
fun.
Saturday, it's a blast. It's fun, and you know what? It gives everybody a
Yeah, but
chance.
we're going live next week.
Going live next week.
Dude.
Live. Okay, if we're going live, we're gonna wait until Mel's pinned.
We go live and then we can feed it through my YouTube channel and just get all sorts of crazy shit.
Oh yeah, here we go.
That'd be cool.
Okay, we're gonna do it live next week, Craig.
And the cool thing is next Saturday, if we do it like the same time,
Hold on. Just hold on, fellas. What were you saying?
Hang on, guys.
so
Hold on.
They can only not. Claudio looks at me.
Just hold on, fellas. What are you saying, Craig?
So saying if we do it next Saturday, the cool thing is my son Caleb turns 12 in October and he's going for his gun course next Saturday. So if we do it at the same time, hopefully I'll have a good announcement that we'll have a new licensed
Perfect.
gun owner.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So that'd be exciting.
That's awesome. Cool.
Okay, awesome. So we'll do a quick around the table like we normally do. And then we'll sign off. So Brenda, God love you. You just showed up. You've been here for 5 minutes, but you get to have the first word.
On what?
Drive.
Drive was great.
Clients were happy.
Clients are always happy. I get hugs and kisses.
Did you get a lot of tips?
I got a coat.
Oh, perfect.
There you
That's
go.
nice.
A
Awesome.
coat, an Austin Hope coat, and I got I don't know, I did get some tips. I didn't
Oh,
get
good.
them.
Okay, all right,
Well,
good.
you don't need to
Tyler?
tell us what
I
you
did
got.
get my bottle of water.
Last words, right? Thank you.
It's better to give than.
Now, Tyler's got nothing. We're gonna work on Tyler for next week. Mel, can you talk now, Mel?
I don't know.
Mel's good to go. Mel's gonna be back next week.
It's all good.
Mel's,
And
hey, no, listen, the red stag. That would be cool if you had the red
I
stag.
gotta go home and get that next week.
And then there goes Kathy.
I was gonna get it this week, but I'm glad
Yeah.
it wasn't done.
What was it?
Daryl?
Never had
All I can
it.
say is thank God Damien shaved that damn mustache.
Cheers to that.
That was pretty bad. It was pretty
Is
bad.
that?
Cheers to that. Nope, I'm done with that for sure.
Claudio,
All good. Thanks, guys. It was fun. See you next week.
Craig,
This was a lot of fun. Cool to chat with you guys. It's always neat being on this podcast and seeing these people that I've seen on YouTube and kind of followed along with. So awesome to talk with you all.
Hopefully we held up to our
expectations, yeah. I know what I got you, Mel. I got you.
Mel, I can take this. This is really hard one.
This is why Mel won't go to sleep by 7.
It's almost like an miniature disaster.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 202 of the Union 0430 podcast. Surround yourself with good people and nothing but good things will happen to you. Big love. Until next time.
Out.
Out.